Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros Review. In this episode, The Lost Jungle, directed by David Howard and Armand Schaefer in the year 1934. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros Review, your guide to the to the wild world of science fiction action horror, all from my personal collection, and I'm your host, Mila Sipka. And by the way, Happy New Year. It's 2021, and we've had a really bad year last year, 2020, with the coronavirus pandemic, and hopefully this year things will look up. Anyway, this is the first of a series of 13 reviews I'm doing called Public Domain Madness, or in the title it's PD Madness, which is basically where I review 13 public domain films, usually sourced from those really big cheap multi-packs you can get. Of course, in Australia we don't tend to have stuff like that. Those big multi-packs aren't exactly popular in Australia, but in 2005 Palace Entertainment released a whole range of them. In America you can find them in Mill Creek's sets. Anyway, this episode we'll look at The Lost Jungle, which came out in the US on the 22nd of March 1934. Now, the film this is actually I'm reviewing the feature-length version, which is 68 minutes long, because the original serial was like 12 parts and it was about 4 hours long. So it's basically a condensed version. Anyway, as for the story, famed animal trainer Clyde Beatty, who's actually a real guy, learns that an expedition to find a lost city, which his girlfriend, the Captain Father, are involved with, has gone missing. Along with his best friend, the trapeze Larry Henderson, and a workman named Sharky, who, unbeknownst to Clyde, is resentful of his success at training circus animals, and also secretly trying to kill him in order to take his place, Clyde boards an airship that's being sent to track down the ship that his expedition was on. But they are struck by a storm, and the airship is destroyed, although an escape pod managed to escape. Landing on the same island that the lost city is on, Clyde, Larry, and Sharky are the only survivors. They come across the survivors of the expedition, which includes Clyde's girlfriend, her father, and a handful of sailors who have been decimated by a killer lion. Meanwhile, Sharky, who has escaped from the group, has found a lost city and has located a treasure, which he's planning to steal. Clyde and the survivors attempt to stop the killer lion and deal with Sharky's constant sabotage. Now, in the 1930s, Clyde Beatty, who was born on 10th of June 1903 and died on the 19th of July 1965, was a circus performer who earned large fame as an animal trainer and lion tamer, indeed becoming the first lion tamer to be featured in the circus. Known for his fighting act style of show, where he would enter a cage of various lions, tigers, pumas, and hyenas, sometimes all in the same cage, armed only with a bullwhip and a revolver loaded blank rounds to show off his expertise of controlling animals and sheer courage. And is suspected of being completely nuts, but the best performers are like that. He became something of a legend in the industry for many years. His career lasted from around 1925 to about 1964, when he was diagnosed with a cancer that claimed his life. He appeared in 7 films from 1933 to 1954 and made a good heap of television appearances late in life. As for The Lost Jungle, a 12-part motion picture serial that was the earliest such program to be shown in commercial American television, that broadcast was on Wednesday, 23rd of August 1939, and has since been repeated so many times over the years. Clyde played himself, as he did with all his film appearances. The version I'm reviewing here is a 68-minute feature-length version, which is highly compressed and slightly reworked with some slight details changed, which was released at the same time as the original serial version. It's sort of like a Reader's Digest condensed version. And for those who don't know what Reader's Digest condensed ones are, Reader's Digest tends to for many years, like a bunch of novels, cut them down, and then basically put them in a 4-part book serial. I've got plenty of those in my collection. And of course, some of those books I'll review on the show as time goes on. And the condensed version is pretty exciting to watch, although nothing more than a passable from 1930s adventure yarn with plenty of wild animals prowling about. The condensed nature of the 68-minute cut is pretty obvious to see. Many details are only briefly shown or removed altogether. For example, the professor finding the lost city and encountering the guardian who defeats. The only parts we see in the feature version is that of Sharky finding the professor who is dying, and with his last breath tells him of the treasure's location. But for those who aren't enthused about these sorts of 1930s adventure programming, the 68-minute version is brisk enough. For the post-2017 politically correct socialist world crowd who think that humans and animals should be kept far apart, this will be pretty painful to watch, since animal performers are clearly being whipped and treated in ways that hardcore animal lovers would be pretty much outraged by. But Clyde Beatty always had a healthy respect for the wild nature of the animals he worked with, and never took their apparent docility for granted. He also treated his animals fairly well by the standards of the day, as evidenced by the scene early on in the film where he reprimands Sharky by punching him for mistreating animals, the moment that Sharky decides to secretly try to kill Clyde. Children with an interest in the circus, not many of them around given the changing attitudes towards circus performance, will like to watch this since Clyde makes for an impressive hero, and his skills at handling wild animals provide some cool stunt work. At best, a passable bit of 1930s adventure yarn featuring the king of the lion tamers. Now, there's no gore or nudity in this film. Now, I'll give Lost Jungle, the 68-minute feature-length version, a C+, 5 out of 10. Basically, it's passable. Now, this is public domain, and all these films I'm reviewing are in the public domain, so they'll be pretty easy to find, possibly even on YouTube, so just look it up. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed my first review for 2021. Yeah, it's going to be one heck of a year. Now, I've already planned like about 125 regular episodes for this year, but maybe I can push it to 150. We'll see about that. And I hope you guys are staying safe. It's going to be one heck of a year this year, I can tell. And keep watching, and see you next time. Hopefully in about 3 days' time, anyway. See you guys.